Hi, it's been a while since my last video, and the basic reason for that is that the fundamental program remains the same in this, what I call version 3 of MM2H. So if you want to find out the various MM2H offerings in the country, you best refer to that video, which was in July last year. In this one, I'm fundamentally just going to look at why people find Malaysia attractive as a place to live in, starting briefly with my own views. But much more importantly, what are the views of the people who currently hold the MM2H visa? And we do surveys, so these are fact-based findings. My perspective is I've lived here now for 30 years. I worked for American Express for a long time and decided I was going to settle in some country after I left working with them and chose Malaysia. Was not a particularly difficult choice because I had quite a few postings in Asia. I'd had the chance to come down here before. And I like the fact that English was widely spoken. I'm certainly not a linguist, that's for sure. I also like the fact that I had a good road network because I do enjoy driving. And some countries are nice, like Singapore and Hong Kong, but you can't really drive anywhere. Other ones are overdeveloped, very, very crowded, or they're underdeveloped. So when I came here in 1996, that was an excellent time because it was the beginning of the real development of the modern Malaysia. And fundamentally, for the last 30 years, this country has been improving pretty steadily. So that's been very satisfying to be a witness to that and also to have the benefits that come from it. I can truthfully say I haven't really regretted coming here for any sustained period. There may have been the occasional things which have made me unhappy, but overall, it's been a very enjoyable experience. And of course, things have changed a lot in the last 30 years. We have much, much better connections. We can make free calls around the world using WhatsApp. My One of my daughters lives in Germany, and she can do daily updates on the grandchild. It's fairly easy to travel by plane. It can be a bit of a pain, but nevertheless, it's easier and faster than it was when I first came out to this part of the world. My youngest children were born here, and they love Malaysia. The sunshine, food, it's a relaxed place to live. So it's got a lot going for it. And of course, the Malaysians are very friendly. Let me look at what the surveys say about MM2H visa holders' view of living here. We do periodic surveys of expats on a number of issues so that we end up responding to what they say and not merely passing on our own thoughts on things. So this survey, one of the things we said was, what is it that you like about living here? And asked them to rank a multitude of things in terms of the importance for their lifestyle in Malaysia. Let me first say that the survey showed something we already knew, which is that most expats choose to live in either Kuala Lumpur here or in Penang, usually because of its proximity to the sea. The rest of the people who don't choose those two places, the most popular locations are Johor, Malacca, and Kedah, which includes Langkawi. But Penang and Kuala Lumpur are overwhelmingly the favorites among expats. And there are some who choose to live on the East Coast. In fact, you can find expats all over the country, but there are preferred places. Now, most of the people who responded to our survey were from Western countries, but there were still quite a few from other countries, not so much the Chinese-speaking ones like Taiwan, mainland China, but a good representation from other parts of the world. I think one of the most interesting findings, and something which basically sums up people's attitude, is at 72%. That's over two-thirds of the respondents said they plan to spend the rest of their life here. And even some who didn't say that said they hadn't made their mind up at this point. But the fact that people have come here, experienced it, and still want to stay the rest of their life, to me, says there's a lot of positive views of the country. Now, when we got down to specific rankings, we had one which was quality of life, and that came out as number one. And again, that says a lot about the country. It's not one specific aspect of living here, it's the overall quality of life. And some people have described it as a balance between the infrastructural development and the cost of living, because the infrastructure has got better and better. The smaller two-lane roads are now highways. The smallish towns are now cities. We've got some of the biggest buildings in the world in Malaysia. Um, and there's a lot to like about it. The second ranked thing was food. Interestingly, and I guess most people rate that quite highly as, or importance, I would say. Malaysia is a multicultural country, so it has a number of different races, but predominantly Malay, Chinese, and Indian. So they all bring their own cultures, they all bring their own cuisine with them. So if you enjoy any one of those three foods, and they're all excellent, I think you'll be very happy here. But even if you don't, there's many, many more food and beverage outlets now than when I first came here, when I almost totally confined to hotels. Now, wherever you go, you're going to find international restaurants. Italian's very popular. Japanese is very popular. Thai is very popular. And of course, the classic American burgers, etc., are all around the country. If you want to try something local, roti canai, which is a soft, flaky flatbread, usually served with a dal or curry, is a very popular wake-up food. We often have it for breakfast. It costs under $1, so it's definitely not an expensive way to live, but it's a very enjoyable meal. Another very popular dish is the national dish, which is nasi lemak, and that's a coconut rice with sambal, anchovies, peanuts, cucumbers, and very often a fried chicken. Uh, Very affordable, also a couple of dollars, very cheap, but it's very filling and very pleasant. So there's no shortage of food, and in terms of quality, it's excellent. Travel opportunities was ranked third, and again, there's a good reason for that. If you look at the map, you'll see how centrally Malaysia is located in terms of Asia. You've got a number of countries very close. Singapore adjoining at the foot of Malaysia, Thailand to the north, and short flights to Indonesia, Vietnam, etc., but also easy access to other spots which most people would like to visit, like Japan or China or Australia or India. And of course, it's a lot easier to get back to Europe or even the United States than it was when I first came out here. The fourth ranking is people. The Malaysians are very friendly, very helpful, and with that advantage that most of them speak English. And even if they don't, they often go out of their way to help you if you have a problem. So the friendliness of Malaysians actually, we found, results in a lot of people forming relationships with them. And when we do surveys, most expats say they have a lot of Malaysian friends, and very few say I mix exclusively with other expats. So even in the living, there are areas which are more popular with expats, but there are none which are exclusively expat. In other words, people mix together with Malaysians quite easily, and that to me is a very good thing. Now, fifth thing is cost of living. For some people, it ranks very, very highly. You can live here very cheaply if you've got a very strict budget, or if you want to indulge in a more millionaire type lifestyle, that's available. There are plenty of wealthy Malaysians. There are some outstanding restaurants in the country. There's a lifestyle to be had, which is there are branded products. You can buy things from all over the world. If you have the money to spend, as I said, you can travel all over the region and easily back to Europe or the States if that's where you come from. So the cost of living is very, very important to a lot of people. Um, whether or not you're on a high income and would like to live better, or whether you're on a lower income and you just want to have a comfortable life. So those are the five highest rated items. And frankly, the difference between them in scoring was very, very small. But there are other reasons. The climate is warm. It can be hot at midday, but mornings and evenings, it's very tolerable, very pleasant. In fact, a glass of wine or soda on the balcony in the evening is a very nice thing to look out and enjoy and feel the warmth. The country does not have major natural catastrophes, no earthquakes, no typhoons. Heavy rain, yes, some quite strong lightning and thunderstorms occasionally, but it's basically a very safe place to live. Crime is very, very low. It is tax friendly. Your overseas income is not taxed when you live here. Uh, and in a world that basically is becoming more uncertain by the day, it seems, Malaysia offers a rather calmer and more comfortable environment in which to live, in my opinion. So to sum up, Malaysia offers a compelling mix of quality of life, diverse food, travel opportunities, friendly people, affordability. It has a very strong healthcare. In fact, medical tourism is a major part of the government's efforts because there are a lot of first class medical centers here and hospitals. So if you're considering applying for MM2H, it all comes down to whether you can actually afford the entry fee, and it does start probably around the 250,000 US dollar mark. If you have that in assets, can afford to put the fixed deposit, afford to buy the property that's required, then I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you're unsure about Malaysia and you haven't been here already, why not take a trip out here, see for yourself how nice it is, meet some people who are here at the program. We can help with that if you wish, and find out for yourself. It's going to take you pleasantly by surprise, I think. Thanks for watching. Bye.